Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
What's up, what your fam? Welcome back to another reaction. We're reacting to Chilling Scares to 3 Last True Home Alone horror stories. Now, Chilling Scares got some good horror stories. If you want to be scared, go to them because you're gonna be scared. So let's check it out. Hope your Monday going good. When the last time I did one of these?
This happened shortly after I turned 15 years old. As a birthday gift, my parents had given me an Xbox. I was even given my own monitor, which allowed me to play it in my room. My room was upstairs, and in the weeks after my birthday, I of course spent a lot of time up there. It was a Saturday night. I was talking in an Xbox party chat with 2 of my school friends. Both of my parents were out of town at a work convention for the weekend, so I was home alone. I had my headphone volume pretty loud, but during a pause in our conversation, I heard a thumping sound come from downstairs. If you've ever been home alone as a kid, you'll know that any abnormal sound gives your mind imagining horrors.
Games, you gotta keep one ear open.
Nothing happened for the next 5 minutes, but shortly afterward, I heard the same noise again. I told my 2 friends about it this time.
That's when I left the house.
To go check it out, joking how someone might have broken in. I laughed and agreed to do it during the next break in our game.
Immature.
I took my headphones off and started walking towards the
He
stairs.
ain't a pro at this. This gotta be his first time at home by
As I
himself.
did, I began to hear soft whispering. I was only halfway down, but I completely froze up. I intently listened, trying to make out whether what I was hearing was actually real or not.
Yeah.
Eventually, I crouched down to get a look into the living room. There, I saw 4 fully grown men, all completely covered in black, silently walking around. I genuinely couldn't process what I was seeing. All I knew is that I had to get back upstairs.
Did this kid say 4? This kid say 4. 2 things would happen. Number 1, my soul would have left my body and I would have met Jesus that day. Number 2, I would have took off, gone to the neighbor house like, open this door right now. Somebody in the house. Well, it's a whole bunch of somebody's in the house and I'm staying with y'all for the night. Bump that.
I slowly started crawling back up them, and of course, one of the steps let out a loud creaking noise. It echoed throughout the house before returning to silence. There was no way they didn't hear it.
Oh, they heard?
Quick, I ran to my room, put on my headset, and told my friends to call the police to my house. They sounded confused, and now in a serious tone asked what was going on. I didn't feel like I had enough time to explain, so I just told them to hurry and threw my headset down on my desk. I knew that locking myself in my room would be an obvious sign that I was inside.
Now you're scared.
I still locked the door and closed it behind me, but instead I hid in the bathroom further down the hallway with the light off and door slightly cracked open so that they wouldn't think to check it. I could hear multiple sets of boots slowly walking up the stairs as I sat in silence.
I would have locked that door.
It kept getting louder until I could hear banging on my bedroom door down the hall. Not banging like trying to get my attention. Whoever was doing it was clearly trying to break down the door. Voices started yelling out, saying things like how I needed to open the door if I didn't want anything bad to happen to me. I was absolutely horrified.
Look, I'm still
I
going
got
to
up
open
and
the door.
started desperately opening the bathroom window. I guess I'd made too much noise, because a set of boots started heading down the hall. Just as the bathroom door fully opened, I managed to dive out of the window head first. I landed badly on my neck, but still managed to look back up at the bathroom window.
Your neck be
The silhouette
alright.
stood motionless looking back at me. That's when the backyard door slid open and 3 men came running out towards me. I tried getting up to run, but I couldn't in time. All 3 of them started grabbing me and pulling me back towards the house.
Oh my
But
goodness.
this would be interrupted by the distant sound of police sirens. The 3 of them stopped.
See, just look. Jesus saved them.
They then sprinted to the backyard fence, climbed it, and I never saw them again. A few moments later, and the police showed up in the backyard. I told them which way the men had gone, to which a couple of them started off in that direction, while another stayed with me. The only man that was caught that night was the one inside the house. The other 3 that ran were never found. As police were asking me questions, my 2 friends who I was playing Xbox with pulled into the driveway on their bikes. Even to this day, I still routinely thank them for calling the cops, as it likely saved my life. Found left behind in the house were 4 different knives and a couple fully loaded pistols.
That was finna do you in. That was finna do you in. You was finna go make your maker right then and there. Saw by the ads.
It was the middle of the summer. I was 10 years old and my younger brother was 7. We were outside playing various games with other kids in our neighborhood, but we finally headed home when the sun went down. Now, maybe once a week our parents would go out to a different restaurant around town, leaving my brother and I home alone. Most of the time they'd tell us before they
I'm gonna
went.
have to edit it
If
out
we were outside
somewhere,
playing,
somehow.
sometimes they just leave us to our game. When we got back home and no one was there, so we assumed this was the case. Confirming this was a note left on the kitchen counter. My brother and I both went to the living room to watch TV, something we usually did before bed. After half an hour, it had gone completely dark outside. Just then, I heard the doorbell ring, followed by knocking.
Oh,
At
no.
first, I thought it was our parents getting back, but it definitely wasn't normal for them to use the front door, much less not have a key for it.
Okay,
The
okay.
chances of the garage door opener they had not
It's your
working
parents.
and them forgetting a key
They
were
don't
extremely
knock.
low.
They unlock the
Although I
door.
realized it was still possible, so I left the living room and went up to the front door to see who it was.
I would have
As I
stayed in the
approached
same
the door,
spot
I heard a
with
man's
that.
voice yell out that he was selling Girl Scout cookies. I was extremely confused considering the time of day. I looked through the people and see a grown man, completely alone, no cookies in hand, and not with his daughter as I was expecting. The man yelled out once more, before moving his hand to the door handle. My heart dropped, realizing that we had forgot to lock the door when coming in for the night. The door handle slowly started turning, to which I quickly
My
engaged
heart
the
would have
dead
came
one.
out my chest.
The clicking
Would have
sound echoed
came,
out.
would have came through my
It
throat,
was too
right?
loud.
Came out
Clearly
my
the man
mouth,
heard it, and
onto
now
the
knew someone
floor.
was inside.
It would have been
Wait a
raps.
minute, before once again looking through the peephole. The man was now looking through our living room window, directly at my younger brother, who was completely unaware to what was going on. What's more, as
This
far as I now
dude's
stood,
sick.
I could make out a gun holstered on the left side of his waist. I ran back to the living room and closed the blinds. I told my brother we should get some ice cream downstairs in the basement.
You
I
better
needed to
not.
get
You
away
ain't got
from
no
any
ice cream in
windows,
the
but I knew that
basement.
if he knew what was going on, he would freak out. He agreed, and we went downstairs. I silently locked the basement door behind us. We ate our ice cream, and eventually I could hear the hum of the garage door opening from upstairs, signifying that my parents were back home.
Oh,
Later, when
was
my brother wasn't around, I told them what had happened. They were horrified and understandably called the police. Police inspected the place, and one of the first things they noticed was how the front door's lock had clearly been tampered with, basically confirming the man had ill intent and was trying to break in. What he had planned to do when he got inside, though, I can't say for sure, and neither can police. The man was never identified. To this day, my younger brother doesn't even know this whole event took place.
until he watched this. If I was a young burger and I found out back
As a
then,
kid, I
when we
lived
get
in the
older,
middle of nowhere.
I was punching you
My
in the throat.
family
I
lived
mean,
a
why you
farm,
didn't tell
so
me?
we lived in a farmhouse, which literally had a dirt road leading up to it. I want to say I was 16 at the time. It was getting close to midnight. On this particular night, I was home alone. I was sitting on our couch in the living room watching a movie with Bear, our family dog who we'd had for years. He was getting old in age, and therefore wasn't the most active dog,
With a
and could
name,
easily
right?
sit through a whole movie motionless
He
by
may
my
be
side.
huge.
It was during one of the quieter parts in the movie when Bear's ears suddenly shot up and his head turned around. I muted the TV. I myself didn't hear anything. Bear stayed completely focused in this one direction. It was towards the house's front door. My first instinct was somebody was at the door, but this just wouldn't make any sense considering the house's location. You have to go completely out of your way to get to our house. I don't think we've ever had someone come to our door that we weren't expecting. Like, this stuff just doesn't happen out here. I brushed it off as just an animal and turned the TV's volume back on. Shortly after I did this, Bear started quietly growling, still looking in the same direction. In the time I've known this dog, I'd heard him growl a total of maybe 2
The
other
house only
times.
do that if
So,
if
by this point, I
some
figured when I was out
paranormal
there,
going on,
I had to at least go
somebody
check it
trying to
out.
break in the house and
I
they
grabbed
don't
one of
know
our
who
family's
he
many
is.
guns and went
So
up to the
let's
front
keep the
door.
dog.
I opened it and saw nothing, so I walked out. I got maybe 30 yards from the front porch and looked out into the night.
I just said it.
Nothing but
Paranormal.
black emptiness, so I turned back around. I took one step back towards the house before I stopped myself. Sitting on the edge of the deck was a man curled up in the fetal position. It looked like he was trying to hide himself. I stood there trying to think of what to do next. I was not about to walk up right next to this guy, so as silently as I could, I went around to the back door. It was unlocked, because we always left our doors unlocked. It's not something we typically have to worry about way out here. Right as I got inside, I ran back to the front door, shut and locked it. I then did the same with all windows and doors around the house. I called the police, and after a full
Your
30 minutes,
doors
they
and
finally
windows should
arrived.
have been locked.
They searched around the whole property, but didn't find anything. This was somewhat relieving. A part of me honestly started to think I had just imagined the sighting. After the police left, I ultimately decided to just go to bed. The next morning, I get up and go down to the kitchen to
I
start making
wouldn't went to
breakfast.
bed. I would have been up.
But when I went
Like
to grab a
this.
knife to cut some fruit, I couldn't help but notice one of the knives was missing. I stood there confused. I was sure it was there the night before. I got a bad feeling and decided to call the police again. 2 officers showed up, and this time I had them search inside the house. I stood outside while they did so. After a few minutes, the 2 officers came back out with an old, scrawny-looking man in handcuffs. The man was found under the basement stairs, gripping a knife with both hands. It was the knife missing from my kitchen. After a short-lasting struggle, the man was detained. This was the same man that was hiding outside. After giving the whole story to police, they believe that most likely he had simply gotten in through the front door during the time it took me to go around the house and get in through the back door. From what I know, the man said nothing when questioned about what he was doing way out here, or what he had planned. But
Oh,
the
you
fact
know
that he
where
got
he
the
had
knife
planned.
couldn't mean anything good. I still think about what would have happened had the man searched anywhere of the house that night, and possibly found me sleeping.
Oh, you know what was going to happen? He would have slashed your throat. Had your insides coming out. And you would have met King
Apnea
Jesus.
at least begins before you open your mouth. Inhaling the first bite, the second.
What made my mind kind of felt funny, made my mind funny, is when this man said they usually leave the windows and doors open because that kind of stuff don't happen, right? Pretty much you live in the woods, right? Pretty much anything could go down at any time. You should have, no matter how safe you think your neighborhood is, you should have your doors, windows, everything that have an opening that somebody can come in or anything come in, locked, no matter how safe it is. That's where he messed up at. See, if you have everything locked, you wouldn't have to worry about that, calling the cops or anything. You could slept peacefully, but no. So the next time what you found, I would have to, horror story, music, movie thrillers. It just be random. Especially music. I love rapping music. So I'm gonna try to rap to music today. I don't know if I want to do Michael Jackson, Prince, Tevin Campbell, somebody 1 to 3, but I'm gonna try. So till next time with your family, if you enjoy, subscribe, tell a friend, tell another friend, peace, love, all the stuff that goes with it. I'm out of breath.